Mr. Harris, it is now 6 p.m. We can begin.
This special meeting of the Willingboro Township Council is called according to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231. Adequate notice has been provided by transmitting the notice of this meeting to the Burlington County Times, by posting it in the township on the township's website, and by filing it in the office of the municipal clerk on Thursday, January 25th, 2024. This agenda is complete to the extent known. Formal action will be taken. We'll have a roll call. Councilmember Perrone. Councilmember Whitfield.
Present.
Councilmember Dr. Worthy. Deputy Mayor Anderson.
Present.
Mayor McIntosh.
Present. And for the record, Mr. Harris, Councilwoman Perrone did call in. She will be running a little late.
Okay, thank you. So if you're ready, we can stand for the flag salute.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we get started, we're going to have a moment of silence for one of our own, Sergeant William Jerome Rivers, who was a member of our Willingboro community and a dedicated serviceman. Sergeant Rivers was one of the 3 United States service members tragically killed in a drone attack in Jordan on Sunday. So can we just take a moment of silence for our fellow member of this community? Thank you. And we also have a little plaque for our former deputy mayor for the service that she's done over the last couple of years. And we just wanted to present her a plaque and tell her we're very grateful for the work she has done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Councilwoman Whitfield.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
It fits her, right?
Yeah.
All right, moving on to a manager's municipal update. Mr. Harris, you may begin.
So we're pretty much having the hearings for the different grant opportunities, right? Okay. So this evening, we are going to be entertaining public hearings for some Green Acre grant applications that we're looking to implement to improve some of our infrastructure and our parks and recreations facilities. We have with us Ms. Dion Bolden, who is the director of, or the acting director of our recreation department, and Mr. Kendall Brunson, who works in conjunction with her to make a presentation regarding some of the things that we are looking to do with recreation in our parks in 2024 through the utilization of funding from Green Acres. Ms. Bolden.
Okay. Would you be able to hear me?
Yeah, you can
No.
take it out.
I'm gonna take it around the side.
There you go.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council, Mr. Harris, and the Willingboro community. As Mr. Harris has stated, I'm Dion Bolden, the acting director of our Recreation and Parks Department, and I have with me my team member, Mr. Kendall Brunson. And Mr. Brunson is very instrumental when it comes to doing these grants. I believe in giving credit where credit is due. For his tenure time that he has been with the municipal, he has kind of acquired maybe about $3 million in grants for the time that he has been here. So he works very tirelessly, effortlessly, and I rely on him a lot for this. So I definitely just wanted to give him credit before we begin. What we're looking to seek council's approval for is that we are applying for 3 separate grants. All of these grants are due February the 7th. They're very extensive grants. They have different requirements. We haven't had to have a public hearing with grants that we've had in the past. And so this grant required a public hearing, and it also required us to have surveys that we had to send out like to the community. So we did Survey Monkey, we did Meetup, I think we did in-person grants, and also posted on our Facebook page. So we received over 1,000 responses with regards to the grants that we are seeking. Most of the feedback was definitely favorable for both projects, one being the Jake's Place Playground and the other one being the pickleball courts in Mill Creek Park. So we're going to kind of take each one separately, just so we can, what we did is we kind of went through the responses that we did receive from the community, so that in our presentation, we can also try to cover some of the concerns that the community did have. But again, I will say that we had overwhelming response for both of the projects. The first one that we're want to discuss is the Jake's Place Playground. That funding range is $500,000 to $750,000. We are applying for $750,000 for that particular grant. We have worked closely with Pannoni for all 3 of the grants. So it's basically 2 projects, but one of the projects, once we get to the pickleball courts, it requires 2 separate grant fundings for that project, and we'll explain more when we get there. So we received the layout, the scope of work, and also the equipment cost and everything for the Jake's Place Playground. And that figure came to, I'd say, $1,179,000 for that particular project. So we are applying for $750,000 for that grant. The grant portion that will be covered, let me see, 750. And so the max of the grant is $750,000. The state will cover 75% of the overall cost of the project of that $1,179,000, which equates to $884,250. I'm sorry. And so there's a difference between what the 75% would be as opposed to what we would be getting for the grant. Makes sense, right? So the difference of that is $134,250. And we also have to cover our 25% grant match portion, which would be $294,750. So when we take the difference of what we wouldn't receive from the grant and then our match, the total capital that we would be looking for would be $429,000. Now, with the Jake's Place Playground, we had looked at Mill Creek Park Section D. So we already have a playground system that's already there. We know that it has been brought up with regards to Broido Park. What some residents do not know is that we had already started looking at putting a playground in Broido Park. We understood that the community didn't have an inclusive playground. So that's one of the things that we have identified. I know Councilwoman Whitfield, that's something that you had also talked about as well. So we already had applied for a grant in 21, which we received in 22. And then last year we were able to get the final pieces of that playground. So that playground will be installed in Broido Park this spring. So the community will have an inclusive playground. It's not a Jake's Place Playground, but we identified that we did need to have an inclusive playground in town. So that's where that's going in Broido Park. With the size of the Jake's Place Playground and everything that comes along with it, when you're talking about shade structures and benches, you need a bigger footprint than what Broido Park would actually offer. So we feel that having the playground placed in Mill Creek Park in Section D would be the best place. We know that when you have a Jake's Place playground, because there are those playgrounds in Delran and Sherry Hill, right, and Mount Laurel, it does bring a lot of traffic to the community. So we know that we would have to look at parking right where that location is. We have Kimball Park that's like kind of like right next to it, where that whole grassland is by what used to be the old Bridges building right there. That can be a conversation with regards to looking for additional parking as well as restrooms. We understand that that is something else that would be required in that area as well, so that we'd be able to accommodate everybody. There was also discussion, or I guess questions with regards to possibly having a spray park within that playground. That's nothing that we were looking to do. We would love to have the spray park working in Pennypacker, which we're actually working on that as well for that. And then we also, had discussions before with Hawthorne with maybe making that into something else. So we did not include a spray park section with water within this actual playground section. Is there anything else you want to add with regards to that? That's it.
Okay, people also mentioned about noise, sound, and also structures for people to sit in separate areas. Several of the Jake's Place areas, they're off of main roads, so and also main parks. So the noise, it's natural for a park, but also they're separate shade structures for places that they can rest or relax, and also for parents just to let the children be children. So several of those particular structures will be included as well.
Exactly. And then we're talking about an inclusive playground. I know that some of the responses was just kind of referring to autistic children, but when you're talking about inclusive, it's also, wheelchair accessible, walker accessible. And again, with the noise, because of the fact that we are will be installing the park in Broido, if the noise is actually a concern in Mill Creek Park, then now we do have another inclusive location that we will have at the Broido Park location as well. I want to say, I think that might be it. And if something else comes back, I'll do. Mr. O'Brien, would you be able to bring up the concept plan for Jake's Place for the residents?
Yes, ma'am. Give me one moment.
Okay. So one of the requirements, and I think Council Mr. Harris may have sent this to you in an email with regards to the concept plan. And basically that's just showing the map of the location, intersecting, streets, the measurements and everything like that. So you would have an idea as to the footprint of the particular area. So that's one of the requirements with regards to the public hearing as well. And then also, okay, next slide will actually show the community, the map for those who are online. You can kind of see the layout of where the playground would be and then any intersecting streets within the community. And if you go up, Mr. O'Brien, to the environmental impact assessment, I want to say page 2, the second page. So after yes, okay, and I go to the next page. One of the things that we just have to make known is the environmental impact analysis of proposed action. And again, this is documentation that was put together for us by Pannoni, and its affected resources are limited to existing playground and grass areas being converted to rubber surface playground area. Improvements are in areas already cleared with no additional clearing requirement. As a longtime existing park over 30 years, the topography and soil conditions will require no change to existing conditions. The project will be accomplished without losing the natural setting of existing plants and trees while providing public access to safe, affordable, and healthy ways to experience and appreciate the outdoors. So that's one of the requirements that we just need to let the community know, as well as any mitigating measures. And according to our document from Pannoni, we do not anticipate any mitigation relative to the proposed improvements. I want to say, I think that was it for the Jake's Place. And I guess we can kind of do the presentation and then save questions for after. That's fine. Or you want to ask questions with regards to that one now? Okay.
We ask questions now or wait?
So we can do it for each individual, have the public hearings. or
Okay.
we can-
Okay, that's fine.
So questions I could,
Yes,
Okay.
and then we'll go into the public hearing for specifically to Jake's Place, and then we'll close and move on to.
Okay, all right. So that's it, that's, I guess, basically the wrap up for Jake's Place. Let me make sure, one of the other items that did come up with regards to Jake Place, because it's in the park, I know that has been concern with the maintenance of the area. So I have spoken with the acting director for DPW so that we can make sure that we are maintaining the area. Again, if we're going to have a lot of volume that's going to be coming into the area, we want to make sure that we are maintaining it however that looks like. And we are also going to have the fencing around the area as well so that it can kind of be enclosed. And speaking with the Captain Bucks from the police department, we're going to try to have additional conversations because we know that the quads and all of that inside the park, that was also a concern. So I do want the residents to know that we did hear, the concerns, and internally we're going to be addressing, these issues because again, we believe that the Jake's Place playground would be a definite asset for the community, for our community at large and, and individuals kind of coming in. So this is something that we want to have in the community and be able to maintain as well. So we're going to save the question so we can go on to the other grants, or you want to? Okay, with regards to Jake's, okay, understood. To the other one, okay, that's fine.
okay, thank you.
You're
First, I want to say thank you, Ms. Bolden and Mr. Brunson for the grant application and for looking into this for Willingboro. I was curious about the matching. I know that sometimes we can do in kind or something with the time and salaries of employees versus having to pay like hard cash. And I was wondering if for the matching, is there an opportunity to decrease the amount of capital that we have to put up and use some in-kind services or something like that to offset it?
And I'll let Mr. Brunson answer that. And I believe when I was looking at the application, it looked like it needed to be a cash match, either from capital or it had to be a loan.
Right, or some other additional grant or something.
Yeah.
But it definitely has to, that's.
From a funding source.
Okay,
Mhm,
thank you.
mhm.
That's fine.
Any other questions?
Can you just describe what the shade shelter would look like? Give us an idea.
Go ahead.
Okay, various shade shelters and, okay, with playground, okay, shade shelters usually are like, we'll say, a four-sided, cloth kind of type of structure, usually standing about approximately 8 feet tall. And various things also have backing and also, various benches, even maybe a water fountain or something, or even like a softer pad for a resting area. But they'll approximately and it could be various colors. So you can choose the colors that would go along with it. But approximately 8 feet tall. And then we're looking maybe around 4 different structures, but it could be varying sizes. So you have your rectangles, also you might have your triangle shapes. And then you can you can contour them various ways just to make it appealing.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your presentation. I'm very excited to see this application come before us. I've been talking with you all about accessibility within the community, and this is a very good opportunity, I think, for us to increase accessibility in our play spaces for the youth in our community. One of the questions that I do have is the surface. And I know you mentioned the environmental impact, but I was wondering if there was any research or any looking into the effect on our stormwater and the runoff on the playground. Yeah.
So most playgrounds, especially the accessible playgrounds are now poured in place surfaces, which are actually porous surfaces as opposed to having to create a drain. There will be naturally a drain there, but the water itself will dissipate along the surface and permeate out with the perm.
Okay, so it's a permeable surface and it'll go
Mhm.
right into the ground as awesome.
Yeah, and that's the same surface that we'll have at the Broydel Park as well.
Great.
Mhm.
That was all I had.
That's it for council.
So we will open the public hearing for the application to fund the Jake's Law Playground being submitted to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection through the Green Acres Program. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Councilman Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman Worthy.
All in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing for the Jake's Law Playground is open. Anyone interested in speaking on this subject, please identify yourself and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Pat Lindsay Harvey, Hadley Lane. I was glad to hear that the area is going to be enclosed because there was a couple residents who have autistic children who were afraid because their children just run that, there's a street there. So my question is, you mentioned that the shade areas are made of cloth. How do they stand up to bad weather, especially wind and bad storms?
There's somebody online waiting to speak.
Should we do all of them? Mhm.
We'll do all of them and then.
Then you correspond.
Guess we gotta ask Sean too.
All right, so I see a call-in listener ending in 7297.
Good evening, Council. Jacqueline Mack. I'm very happy to hear that we have presentation on the playgrounds. And my question, even though it's a little trouble, I'm having a little trouble hearing some of the people, so I'm not sure I understood this correctly. Are we talking about four playgrounds? Two are what you're calling inclusive, and two regular? Is that how what we're talking about in this, application for the state for the grants? And how would that affect that if we're talking about it for like Pennypacker and Hawthorne? Does that impact on the school district at all, or has the township taken over those two particular playgrounds? Thank you very much. And I don't know if I gave my address as 70 Maple Oak Lane. Sorry.
Ms. Mack.
All right, I did see Steven's iPad.
Good evening, one and all. Thank you for having me. Stephen Craig, 65 Belmont Lane. I'm glad to see that a park like this is coming to the township potentially. I think it's a great idea. I would ask that you employ and speak to some of the parents of autistic children. Maybe you guys take a ride and go and see what a park looks like. I personally can tell you, I don't think this park should be in Mill Creek. As the parent of an autistic child, these children, and every autistic child is a little different, but some of these kids react different to loud noises. And I know they said that they plan on doing something about the dirt bikes and the quads in the park, but we've been dealing with that for years. And I just don't have a lot of confidence that that's going to be dealt with. At this point, my son being 12 years old, he still requires a quiet space at times. where he needs to be able to go to. And I just don't have confidence that this park is going to be quiet enough. On top of that, we have other parks in the township. Why are we not considering using one of the other parks that go underused? I think it would be a great idea. Like Brodeo Park would be a great location to put a park like this. It's easy accessible. There's plenty of parking, and that park basically goes unused. There's not a lot going on over there. We have the Jazz Fest in the park, and there's tournaments, and just about everything goes on in Mill Creek Park. Why are we not even? We should at least consider it. I mean, that's just my opinion on it. But it's something to think about. Last but not least, sending my condolences to the township on the loss of Sergeant Rivers and the other 2 soldiers that we lost in that terrorist attack. All right, peace and God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Craig, and let the record reflect that Council Member Perone arrived at 6:25 p.m.
Host, was there anyone else for the public hearing?
Not at this time, Mayor.
Thank you.
So is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman Worthy.
Councilmember Perone? Close the public hearing.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Dr. Worthy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Mayor McIntosh?
Yes.
The public hearing for the Jake's Law Playground is officially closed. And next, Miss,
We want
Okay,
to
we'll
answer the
absolutely
question.
answer the
Yeah.
oh, I'm
So
sorry.
I'll let Mr. Brunson speak to the shade structure because we've had several. I think that's the same type of shade structures like we have at the pool.
Right, so, the shade structures themselves, they have
Yeah.
they have about approximately 100 mile per hour wind capacity. And they're usually made by, alloyed steel. And they're either, for the park themselves or the playground, they'll actually be into the ground. So there'll be footers into the ground, that will allow for the wind to not prevail over the structure itself.
And I believe Ms. Mack had a question. I think she was asking if it was several different playgrounds. So it's just one playground that would actually be in the Area D section of Mill Creek Park. We did reference another playground, but that's the one that's going to be completed in the spring in Brodeo Park. But that's not a Jake Place playground. Okay, and then I believe Mr. Stephen Craig, I know it was some concern with regards to the noise. But the playground that we are going to have in Brodeo Park is also an inclusive playground as well. And when we're talking about inclusive, we mean just inclusive for all children in the community to be able to utilize the playgrounds. Excuse me, but when you're having an accessible, inclusive playground, it allows for individuals with disabilities to also be able to utilize the playground. So whether in your wheelchair or a walker, but it's not just the noise, but if the noise is an issue in Mill Creek Park, again, we'll have an inclusive playground with the port in place surface, as well as the different sensory toys and merry-go-rounds and everything that's accessible for all children. So that's another alternative that we did want to indicate early on. So you're not married to having to use the playground in Mill Creek Park. You do have options in the community before that playground is even going to be installed, actually. Is that it? Okay. All right. So now we're going to go on to one of Mr. Brunson's favorite areas. We're going to be talking about the pickleball courts. So there's 2 different grants that we are applying for with regards to the pickleball courts. One is an urban parks grant and one is the park development plan. Now with the urban parks grants, based on, I guess, different criteria within the grant, our community falls in line with being able to apply for the Urban Parks grant. That grant is $500,000. There is no match that we have. It's 100% grant funded of $500,000. So we don't have to worry about a match for that particular grant. Now, the Parks Development Grant, we have to apply for that grant as if we didn't receive the Urban Parks Grant. So we're going to have two different grants in. I'm sorry, Council Deputy, you with me? Okay, all right. So what we have to do is we have to apply for two separate streams of grant funding. So we would apply for the Urban Parks Grant in hopes that we would get the $500,000. The project cost $800 and
20,000.
I want to be accurate. I'm sorry, 1 second. The overall cost for the pickleball courts is $820,000. So if we receive $820,000. So if we receive the Urban Parks Grant, $500,000 of that would automatically come off. We don't have to worry about having a matching for that particular grant. In the event that we did not receive that grant is the reason why that we have to apply for the Parks Development Grant. And that would be for the whole project. And then we would have $615,000 that would be covered by the grant, and then our cash match for that would be $205,000 to equal that $820,000. Okay. Now, if we were to receive the $500,000 from the Urban Park Grant, then all we have to do is worry about what would be left over for the difference from the 820 taken off the 500,000, which would be $320,000. So then at that point, our 25% contribution would be $80,000. You good? Okay. All right. Now, when we looked at the pickleball courts, and I kind of want to take a step back with regards to pickleball. We've introduced pickleball to the community in 2016. So we kind of was a little bit ahead of some of the surrounding communities because we introduced it. We've had several tournaments within our building. Right now we have classes, we have lessons. I'm not exactly sure if Willingboro High has the classes, but we do know that they have a pickleball class for gym at BCIT. So, you know, pickleball is moving. There was some discussion when we were talking about being able to use the tennis courts to convert them over, the ones that are cotton. But it was very clear when we attended the grant Q&As that they had that we need to own the property. They do not want us to use anybody else's property because you do not know what can happen going forward. So they frown upon it. They pretty much kind of discourage it with regards to having using other property that's not owned by the township, I should say. So when we kind of looked at that and also with proximity to housing and all of that, we think that it would be better suited for the pickleball courts to go where we already have our tennis courts, and then we can kind of run it the same way. We have people that rent out the tennis courts. We have tournaments that are out there, you know, for USTA. So we can kind of run a lot of things on the pickleball courts, and it'll be housed, what we call it, our racket and
rack and paddle sport.
Right, rack and it all in the same area. And so again, we know that there may be a concern with regards to parking. We know we have the Futura House that's there. There's grassland that's there. So there's a lot of things that we can explore so that we can make sure that we be able to accommodate everything that's there. Mr. O'Brien, would you be able to bring up the concept plan for the pickleball courts? Please. Okay. So this shows where we would be looking to have the pickleball courts. So it would be kind of right in front of, is that 1 through 4 courts, right? Okay, so when you're looking at the tennis court pavilion, you want to change? And it's also on the board for the community right here. It's right here for the community, so they can actually see it right here. So when you're facing the tennis pavilion, we have courts 1 through 4 here, and then 5 through 8 over there. And so right in front of courts 1 through 4 is where we were proposing to have the pickleball courts there. Go ahead. You want to add?
Yeah, during that, we also, we would remove the wall that's there. There's 2 walls at the tennis courts, hitting walls, and the handball
Yeah.
walls. And they're actually minimally used. We may use them for lessons here and there, but they're not used often. And so we would actually remove that particular structure to accommodate those courts.
And we were looking for, the outside structure for the pickleball courts, because we know that that's something that has been raised from some community members with regards to having it. And usually when pickleball goes outside, usually in like April or May, then there's nowhere for the residents to actually play. They will kind of try to utilize the courts at Fairmount Park, but they're not in the best condition. And then we don't put taping lines on the tennis courts because our tennis courts need to be a certain way, because again, we have tournaments, the USTA. So we kind of have different guidelines. So we believe that this would be able to fill the need for the pickleball community as well. I think that's all I have. Go ahead, you want to say?
And then may I add something as well? As everybody might have heard, pickleball is the fastest growing sport in America. We're seeing it on TV. We're seeing it everywhere right now. It's actually a generational age sport. Many people think it's for people 50 and over, but actually the average individual playing now is between 25 and 35. We definitely see pickleball on ESPN and other sports networks. The #1 player in the world for a female is 16 years old. The #1 male player is 22. So it's definitely, a growing sport, and it's a sport for all ages, and also it crosses I would say the cultural barrier as well. So it definitely it's definitely growing. And also when we look at tennis, we look at pickleball courts. So our tennis facility, Mill Creek Park, it's an award-winning facility, and many people are transferring from tennis to pickleball, like I did myself. But also many facilities of our size. There's no facility of our size in this area for tennis or pickleball potentially. You go to Mercer County, Veterans Park, they are actually doing the same thing we're trying to do here, and migrating into pickleball as well to better serve the residents, and also to give other activity base. And also brings more visitorship to the park, because of course, Mill Creek Park is 100 acres plus. So those people that come to play pickleball or play tennis, they're gonna walk the trails, they're gonna check out the other areas of the park. So it's definitely, Mill Creek Park has a regional feel. So will be a regional facility.
So real quick before you begin, and I just want to say, we kind of looked at this grant because you can have different options of what you want to apply for. And I know that when we're kind of looking at the surveys, it did come up again with regards to like the turf field and the track. But we are applying for another grant through the state that's due at the end of February, that we're looking to apply that funding as well to the football field and the track project. So just so individuals know, we understand the need for all of the programs. We know that there was another group that was applying for grant funding to try to assist with the turf fields and track as well. So we do have another grant that we're going to be applying for again, once we kind of close these 3, and Mr. Brunson will be working on that one because that's at the end of February as well. And that grant is $100,000 and also with a match. So we're looking to try to apply that to the turf field track project. So we're constantly moving to try to, help everybody out.
Okay. Well, excellent job on getting the grants. I definitely appreciate your hard work in doing that, and the concept with the autistic park. Thank you for doing that. I just have one question about the pickleball. I'm going to use Councilman Worthy's screen. The gray area, that's the drive, is that the driveway where the cars are? That gray road, is that the road where the cars drive? Yes. Okay, and then the yellow box. Can they turn it counterclockwise and zoom in, IT?
Oh, yeah, they can You can make it, landscape.
I'm trying to see.
Yeah, can he rotate it?
Oh, can I zoom in?
Dawn, are you there?
Oh, I'm sorry. So that's for Zoom? Hold on one second.
You see the yellow box on the board, is that?
So the question was, can you rotate it 90 degrees and zoom in?
So the side, I'm trying to see what side is the pickleball gonna be as comparable to the driveway, so.
It's in the part that would be closest to the grass, that would be closer to like on the hillside.
So not where the
Yes, so
drive,
this right here is the road to go in.
okay,
This is the pavilion here, and it would be on this grass side,
Right, so if you're
so
facing,
the back side,
as you're facing from the road, it's gonna be to the left side.
yeah.
okay, so it wouldn't interfere with the road, like if
No.
somebody's bouncing balls,
No.
it's not that, it's on the opposite side, okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions from council?
Yes, thank you again for your work. One question, and I can't exactly tell here, but is this a fenced in area as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, just like the tennis courts were fenced in.
And just for clarification, it's behind, we're not uprooting our tennis courts. We're keeping the tennis
No.
courts. Okay.
Right.
And also I know pickleball is becoming, huge, and I'm sure people will want to visit our facilities. What are we going to do in terms of managing our facilities, in terms of management, bookings and things of that nature?
So,
Go
yes,
ahead.
so, we're actually going to, manage the pickleball courts the same way we, manage the tennis facility. So the courts we've been managing now for 30 years, and, so we have membership, we do memberships, we have lessons, and we also, we hire court attendants, and, we also have a tennis coordinator during the summer. So, we would actually use our staff that we use for the tennis program to work the tennis program, the pickleball program. Also, as far as, lessons as well, we would also, incorporate, certified tennis pickleball instructors. And also, we would also look to, as we do USTA tournaments for tennis, we would also be doing USPA tournaments for pickleball as well. So the management would definitely be the same or similar to what we do with the tennis courts.
Okay. We currently have pickleball instructors that are certified that work with us now.
Any other questions? Okay.
So we're going to open the public hearing for the application to the Urban Park Initiative Program Grant and Parks Development Grant being submitted through the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Green Acres Program. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Councilwoman Whitfield, seconded by Councilwoman Worthy.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak to this item, please identify yourself.
All right, Martin Knott.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Actually, I am very happy to hear things are going into the park. I've been aboard of the park for the last 37 years. And when West Hampton built all of their fields, I say the activity in the park has definitely decreased. I would say guests would be about 75%. There's not a lot of activity anymore. And I really feel like this would help. The other aspect of it is that I believe there's a baseball field out there in the corner between C and D, or used to be. There's an area there too that can be utilized. So I just don't want you to forget that if possible. Thank you.
Please state your address for the record, please.
I'm on Windsor Lane in Willingboro. I don't like to give my exact address. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else online for the public hearing?
Not at this time, Mayor.
Thank you.
So is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Whitfield, seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson.
Councilmember Peron,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitfield,
Yes.
Councilmember Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
And the public hearing for the Parks Development Initiative is closed.
Thank you.
I just want to make sure that I'm going to be compliant and do what I did for the Jake's Place Playground. I just want to read the environmental section. I don't want it to be a problem. The environmental impact analysis of proposed action with regards to the pickleball courts. Affected resources are limited to existing handball courts and grass areas being converted to 6 pickleball courts. Improvements are in areas already cleared with no additional clearing required. As a longtime existing park over 30 years, the topography and soil conditions will require no change to existing conditions. The project will be accomplished without losing the natural setting of existing plants and trees while providing public access to safe, affordable, and healthy ways to experience and appreciate the outdoors. And if there are any mitigating measures, according to our documents, we do not anticipate any mitigation relative to the proposed improvements. Just want that to be on record. Thank you.
So next on the agenda would be public comments. But we just had the hearing, so if you want to go through just the resolutions that are pertaining through, okay. So the resolutions pertaining to the public hearings would be Resolution 2024-19, which is a resolution authorizing the Township of Willingboro to apply for the Jake's Law Playground Funding Grant through the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Green Acres Program. Resolution number 2024-23 is a resolution authorizing the Township of Willingboro to apply for the Urban Parks Initiative Program grant through the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Green Acres Program. And resolution number 2024-24 is a resolution authorizing the Township of Willingboro to apply for the traditional or the Parks Development Green Acres grant through the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection through the Green Acres Program. There is another resolution number 2024-27, which is a resolution for the Township Council of Willingboro providing for appointments to Willingboro Municipal Utility Authority, that's supposed to read. And then at the request of the governing body, resolution number 2024-28 has been withdrawn from consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. We will open up the floor for public comment for agenda items only. Public comment for agenda items only. You have 2 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. Public comment for agenda items is now open. Host, anyone online?
Not at this moment, Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I want to thank the board, the council,
What's your name,
for
ma'am?
listening concerning the pickleball court. I hope I live to see it happen. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Kelly Miller, Hollis Lane.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Miller. All right, public comment for agenda items only is now closed. Mr. Harris?
So first for your consideration will be resolution number 2024-19. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Peron, second by Councilwoman Worthy. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitfield,
Yes.
Councilmember Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
Resolution number 2024-19 has been approved by unanimous consent or unanimous vote. Next is resolution 2024-23. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Worthy, seconded by Councilwoman Whitfield. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Perone,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitfield.
Yes.
Councilmember Dr. Worthy.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
And resolution 2024-2023 has been approved by unanimous vote. Next for your consideration is resolution number 2024-24. Is there a motion to approve that resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Worthy, seconded by Councilwoman Whitfield. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Perone,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitfield.
Yes.
Councilmember Dr. Worthy.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
Resolution number 2024-24 has been approved by unanimous vote. Resolution number 2024-27, is there a motion to approve that resolution?
We need to do.
need to do
names.
nominations.
Nominations.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Yeah. So that resolution is to providing for the appointments to the Willingboro Municipal Utility Authority. Are there any nominations for that appointment?
I'd like to nominate Darvis Holly.
I nominate Diallo Diggs.
I'll nominate, Webster Evans.
Are there any other nominations? Is there a motion to close the nominations?
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember Perone?
This is the motion to close nominations.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitfield?
Yes.
Councilmember, Dr. Worthy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Mayor McIntosh?
Yes.
And the consideration now is to appoint members by nomination to the Municipal Utility Authority. Councilmember Perone,
Darvis Holly.
Councilmember Whitfield,
Diallo Diggs.
Councilmember Dr. Worthy,
Diallo Diggs.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Darvis Holly.
Mayor McIntosh.
Diallo Diggs.
Diallo Diggs has been appointed to the Willingboro Municipal Utility Authority by a majority of votes, 3-2.
Thank you. Now Diallo Diggs was the alternate 2, so now that he's been moved up to a full member, there's a vacancy for alternate 2.
I'll nominate Darvis Holly for alternate 2.
I nominate Kimberly Davis for alternate 2.
I'll nominate Jacqueline Jennings, alternate 2.
Are there any other nominations? Is there a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember Perone,
Darvis Holly.
this is to close the
Oh,
nomination.
yes, sir. Yes.
Councilmember Whitfield.
Yes.
Councilmember Dr. Worthy.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
And now we will vote for the vacancy as the alternate number 2, I believe.
Yes.
For the Willingboro Municipal Utility Authority by nomination. Councilmember Perone,
Yes. Darvis Holly.
Councilmember Whitfield,
Kimberly Davis.
Councilmember Dr. Worthy,
Kimberly Davis.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Jacqueline Jennings.
Mayor McIntosh.
Kimberly Davis.
And Kimberly Davis has been appointed to the vacancy and alternate number 2 to the Willingboro Municipal Utility Authority by a majority vote.
Okay.
There is no report from the treasurer for you to approve.
Okay.
So at this time, we can proceed with
Public comment.
Public comment.
Yep.
public
Okay.
comments.
We will now have public comment. Public comment is now open. You have 4 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. Public comment is now open. Anyone online, host?
Yes, Sarah Holly.
Good evening, council. I reside at 9 Tioga Lane, that's Willingboro, of course. Let me tell you about the rumor in town. And before you define rumor for me, let me tell you that when there's a rumor circulating in Willingboro, it's 98.9% factual. The rumor that is circulating, circulating is that council is paying the former township clerk $10,000 to train the newly appointed clerk for a civil service position, which civil service documents said that said employee was not qualified for the position anyway after staying in the position for 3 years. The clerk was making $95,000. The township manager has appointed, so the rumor says, this same clerk to a position in the Department of Vital Statistics with a top salary of $70,000. And on top of that, she was given a $20,000 per year stipend for the last 2 years, which is $40,000 in addition to the $95,000 that she was making. 3 questions. Is this council reducing that said employment salary by the $25,000 to compensate for the new position that she's in, which has a $70,000 top salary range? And why pay an unqualified employee, according to civil service, to train a newly appointed person to the position the former clerk was not qualified to hold, according to civil service? The vital statistics position is a civil service position, which the employee has not been certified in that position by civil service. Are we going to have a repeat of the person spending 3 years in a position without the proper certification? And I don't want to hear that it's a personal issue, blah, 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 blah. My question is my tax dollars and how my tax dollars are being misused. And now to Mr. Garcia, which in my opinion, you ran out. What exactly happened? And again, I know I'm going to hear a personnel issue, blah, 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 blah. But I do believe that something happened, which is the reason why Mr. Garcia went back to his former position in Trenton. And that's all I have for tonight. But you know what? I've rearranged my schedule, so I will be on Zoom meetings, council meetings, now until forever. So good night, council.
Thank you, Ms. Holly. Any other public comment?
Lee.
Hello, this is Lee Cole, 59 Buckeye Lane. I don't think you can hear me. I don't know what's going on.
We can hear
We can
you.
hear you.
Oh, okay, okay, thank you. I don't know what the procedure is for this, but I would like the council to consider or investigate putting speed bumps on Buckeye Lane. People, yes, there are children on this street now, and they ride from one end of the street to the other end at exorbitant rates of speed. And I don't know what the procedure is, but I'd just like you to take a look at it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cole.
All right, Beulah Williams.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Deputy Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Congratulations to our mayor for her third term and for Deputy Mayor. And of course, congratulations to our council as well. We had our third annual Martin Luther King Day of Service with emphasis on affirming our veterans, and it was very successful. I want to let our manager know, Mr. Harris, how much we appreciated his attending. He was well prepared, and one thing he mentioned was the deployment of our soldiers, and to find out that this next council meeting we have regrets that some of our soldiers' lives were lost. We want to let the families know that we care and want to send our condolences. And if there's anything that the Willingboro Seventh-day Adventist Church can do, we are here for our veterans. And also we want to thank Congressman Kim for sending his representative from his office. He was unable to attend the Martin Luther King Day of Service, but he sent his representative. I think his name is Mr. Thousand. I'm lost with names. So my daughter, I guess, will mention it. I want to thank the mayor, deputy mayor, council, because they have always attended and supported our initiative for our community. So although they weren't able to come out this time, I want to let them know that we see them and we appreciate them. And again, thanks to Mr. Harris. We had, I'm drawing a blank, but I want to let the other participants know how much we appreciate their service. And I'm certainly drawing a blank. I'm sorry. Oh, on the 24th of February, we know that February is Black History Month. The Willingboro Seventh-day Adventist Church has earmarked that day to showcase Black History Month. So anybody here, you're all invited to come on out as we celebrate Black History Month, but we're doing that in one day, the 24th. You're welcome to come in and celebrate with us. God bless you. I know I'm missing something important, but I can't think of what it is. So God bless you, everyone, as you continue to do this great work for the Willingboro community. And did I say my address? My address is number 8 Botany Circle.
For your event that you just spoke about.
Oh, it's
the 24th.
On the 24th of February at 201 Veterans Parkway. St. Paul's is our host church. So we worship at St. Paul's on every Saturday, beginning at 9:30 a.m.
Okay.
And also, we always serve a wonderful lunch after service. So you're welcome. Anybody interested, you're always welcome. God bless you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
And Councilman, Councilman just celebrated a
Williams, your time
birthday.
is
So
up.
happy birthday to
Ms. Williams,
Deputy Mayor.
Ms. Williams,
So-
your time is up. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry.
Mhm.
All right, Stephanie M.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Meredith from 39 Harvard Lane. And I was troubled by the news articles about the deputy mayor. And I wanted to know what is the procedure when someone is facing any type of criminal charges from the city council, since we are a safe harbor city, and the mayor, only thing we elect is the city council members, and then the board elects the mayor. I'm not sure what is the procedure, and if the deputy mayor can continue on in his current position pending his charges.
Okay, thank you. All questions will be answered after we close public comment.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Tarina Williams.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Tarina Williams, 8 Botany Circle. First, I want to congratulate Mayor McIntosh and Deputy Mayor Anderson, Councilwoman Worthy, for being reelected. Thank you for your dedicated service. And I just love how all of you work harmoniously. You have your differences of opinion, but all of you serve your community, our community, with love and compassion. I greatly appreciate your dedicated service. In addition to extending my congratulations, I want to extend my condolences to everyone mourning the unfortunate loss of Miss Crenshaw. I just learned about that recently, and want to extend condolences to everyone who's mourning her loss. She is gone, but she will never be forgotten. And in a continuation of that, I extend my condolences to the family of our late Sergeant Rivers. I'm still hurting from that because when one hurts, we all hurt. Alongside the other 2 soldiers' family, we're truly indebted to our veterans. So may God richly bless and comfort everyone mourning their loss. I want to extend my appreciation to our veterans of our township. We had a great time honoring them in remembrance of Dr. King's day, our 3rd annual MLK Day of Service. Thanks again for the council, always extending their support. At our first one, we had Mayor McIntosh. Our second one, we had our Deputy Mayor Whitfield. And of course, mentioning your name, I want to extend appreciation for your term serving as our Deputy Mayor. You and Mayor McIntosh were a dynamic duo, which I'm sure will also in continuation will work with Deputy Mayor Anderson and McIntosh, because all of you truly have a strong will to serve our community with love and compassion, like our church, Willing Bar SDA Church. Speaking of our church, we want to extend special thanks to Mr. Townsend. My mom mentioned he came in place of Congressman Kim. Thank you so much, Township Manager Mr. Harris, for coming. We greatly appreciate the support, and there's always a representative from the township, and the veterans really, really appreciated that. In addition to Mr. Harris, we had 2 police officers. Thank you so much for always supporting our events. And the Food Bank of South Jersey gave a wonderful health talk and showed their support by bringing bags of food for our veterans. We can never pay back our veterans enough for all their time and service and sacrifice. So thank you so much to the Military Lodge where we hosted the events. And we are just so excited that we'll be able, the Foster Military Lodge where we hosted our event. Thank you so much, Mr. Pinder, and every single person who was in attendance. And of course, the church family who made the delicious food that we're greatly appreciative of. Speaking of health talk, I just remember that Tuesday nights are our health talk. I wanted to share that with the council and our community. We have them every Tuesday at 7 on our church's Zoom. My mom already mentioned the Black History Month, but prior to the Black History event on the 24th, starting on the 10th, will be our Christian Home and Marriage series. On the 10th will be the actual day. Our Pastor Banner, will be our speaker. Lunch will be provided. And then from the 11th through the 17th will be a special series on Zoom at 7 p.m. And then a special on our church's Zoom.
Williams,
at
4
7.
minutes is up.
Okay, thank you, Mayor McIntosh. Thank you, everyone. God bless.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
You're welcome.
All right, Sharon Anderson.
Good evening, everyone. Sharon Anderson, Bellhurst Lane in Willingboro. And I want to send condolences to the family and friends of Sergeant William Jerome Rivers. I know that there are people here in town who were friends of his growing up, and I'm sure that every one of them is feeling this loss. But I also wanted to remind us that we have people among us who are reservists, who have family who are in the reserves. We have children of reservists living here in Willingboro, and we would do well to love and support them, because while they may not have lost a family member in blood, they've lost a family member in service. I'm wondering if among the events that Recreation considers for the year, that maybe we should do something that raises up our families who are supporting their service members who live here in Willingboro. We have a high concentration because of the proximity to Fort Dix. And so to the extent we could support them, I think that'd be a great thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson.
All right, Rev Beebe.
Hello, Brenda Blyden, Township employee. I just want to set the record straight so y'all won't have to, counsel, and make things a little clear. I do not have my certification, but I could do the township clerk job for 3 years without the certification. That's for your edification, Miss Harley. Also, I am qualified for vital statistics. I do have a certification. I currently have a salary, came into the township with a salary of $80,000 plus as the administrative assistant 3. So you're not giving me too much. So your taxpaying dollars will continue to pay me as an administrative 3, registrar, or whatever employee title that I may hold. Just want to set the record straight. If you're going to have facts and want to know about civil service, get the facts and get your facts right. And anytime you want to know about Brenda Blyden, please feel free to come to the township and talk to me. I have no problem telling you the truth about me. But the lies out in the street and the rumors, as you so call them, come and get the truth from me. Mr. Brantley, you can file as many Oprahs as you want on Brenda Blyden. As many as you want. Keep the lies coming. God bless you all. Thank you, counsel.
Thank you, Ms. Blyden. Is there anyone else for public comment? All right, public comment is now closed. There's a couple of things, Mr. Harris, Mr. Cole, concerning speed bumps on Buckeye Lane.
Yeah, we can look at the installation of speed bumps on Buckeye Lane. I'll have a conversation with Captain Bucks and we'll start that process.
Okay. I'm just gonna, and is there a certain process we have to go through, just to determine if speed bumps are needed?
Well, first we will do some type of study and determine, the amount of traffic that goes by and what the average speeds are. And then if the council wants to move forward, we would have the engineer look at the street and decide how many and where the appropriate locations for the speed bumps to be placed. And then we can consider that for a capital budget in 2024 and move forward.
Okay.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
can I ask the manager a question? I know we started a project where we were doing an assessment of the community because there were a number of streets. This can just be added. This is not like it's something new because we started the assessment plan.
That's correct.
And if at the next meeting, if you just give us an update as to those streets and, where we are, because I know there were a list of streets and we were looking to do them in some type of order based on the need.
Yes, so, but in conjunction with that, PSC&G has been working through Willingboro Township, and they're going to be replacing a lot of their gas main lines in the township. So the streets that we were looking at and considering would take place after, but I have to see if Buckeye Lane is one of their consider streets under consideration.
Okay, thanks.
Also, just to add to that conversation, I know there was a request for speed bumps, but there are a number of other speed calming measures that may be more suitable for some of our smaller residential streets like Buckeye, and just to provide options as we go through the process of investigating.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Whitfield. All right, moving on, and I'm sorry, I didn't get the name. I think it's Miss Stephanie M. Yes.
Certainly,
McHugh?
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
As far as any matter with the deputy mayor's investigation, it's an ongoing investigation. We are in a society where it is innocent until proven guilty. At this time, there is no procedure to take place. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McHugh. I think, moving on to Ms. Anderson. I think Ms. Anderson brings up a great point in making sure that we do support our families, that have loved ones in the military and reserve. I'm not sure what that looks like for us right now, but that's something that we can start looking into as a council to make sure we provide some service or some support to our families that, as Ms. Anderson said, they haven't suffered the loss of a loved one at this time, but there are some deficiencies maybe and some support needed for families that have their loved ones overseas or in reserve. So I just want to make sure that stays on our radar. Was there anything else that needed to be addressed? Oh, okay. Moving on to council comments. Does any council have any comments for today?
Sure. I just want to thank everyone for coming out. I want to thank Dion and Kendall for the presentation, bringing clarity to the projects and all the work that is being done through the Recreation Department, through the parks, and being inclusive. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councilwoman Worthy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I too want to thank the public for coming out. Still sending love and prayers and thoughts to the Recreation Department and the Willingboro community about Kim Crenshaw, who had a beautiful service yesterday. Also sending prayers and still figuring out what more we'll do as a municipality for Sergeant Rivers, family and friends that are here in our community with us. I want to congratulate retired Chief Master Sergeant Sabrina Flagg Briggs, who was installed as the president of the National Association of Black Military Women. The first chapter of New Jersey was done Saturday in our Willingboro Library. So being able to support those military women, active reserve component, it's wonderful to support the veterans and those who continue to serve. And thank you, Madam Mayor, for your words and coming out to support that event, and providing a resolution to so many women that were present. There were 15 members installed, and they're looking to continue to grow in Willingboro and to serve our military community here. And that concludes my comments. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Dr. Worthy.
Yeah, I just want to express my continued sympathy to the 3 lives that were lost. My sympathy goes out to their families, and also, their fellow soldiers as well. And just echoing Councilman Worthy, my heart is still unsaddened of our loss of Miss Kimberly Crenshaw. She was truly a remarkable person. She had a huge heart and just a love for people, period. So she will be greatly missed. And I just wanted to express that further. And I thank Ms. Dion Bolden and Kendall for your efforts in getting the grants together, and assisting us in building our community. I know it's not an easy task, so I know there's a lot of work that's going to be coming about that, but your efforts and work does not go unnoticed. So job well done.
Thank you, Mayor. I also wanted to just thank everyone for coming out, and also we have quite a few people online, so I'm glad to see the increased participation in our democratic process and municipal process as we begin the new year and starting off strong. Thank you to the Recreation Department, Ms. Bolden and Mr. Brunson, for all of your hard work. It's not easy work, and especially when you're grieving, it can be even more difficult. So thank you for staying strong and committed to the community. My heart goes out to both the Rivers family and the Crenshaw family. It's never easy losing someone, and both were important members of our community. So my prayers go to those families, and I'm praying for their strength and continued peace as they go through this difficult time. I also want to remind the community to stay involved, stay engaged. If you have not done so already, make sure you download the Willingboro Connect app, sign up and turn on notifications so that you can be up to date with all of the things that are going on around town. We have a jam-packed schedule with the Recreation Department and other departments around the municipality, especially for Black History Month. So I look forward to seeing you all at some of those events, and that is all I have.
Thank you, Councilwoman Whitfield. We'll circle back to Councilwoman Colon.
Okay, just real quick, I forgot to mention, I just wanted to congratulate Ms. Kimberly Davis on her newly appointed position to the MUA. I did serve on the school board with her, so I'm looking forward to what she'll do there. So just want to say congratulations to her.
And speaking of the boards and commissions, if you need to get sworn in, please see our deputy clerk you can come into the building between 9 and 5 to be sworn in to your position, or you can do it at your board meeting. Speaking of the WMUA, our water, they had their first meeting on Thursday, February 1st. Your reorg, February 1st. What time is Pat? I'm sorry. At 6 p.m. That is our water utility authority. So if you have any questions about our water, the safety and the integrity of our water, please attend that meeting. It's on Zoom. Also, There are still plenty of positions open on the board for boards and commissions to serve our community. Please look online to see the list. I'm sorry, I just don't have it in front of me, but there are plenty opportunities for each and every one of us to contribute and make this township a lot better. I think we're going in the right direction, and there's a lot of great things happening that we are all excited about. So, you know, we still need our residents' expertise and their knowledge to make, you know, the dream work. So I encourage people who are online or anyone who wants to be more involved in the community to check it online. It's the Citizen Leadership Forums. Please look at that and see where you can fit in. Also, you know, as we've been hearing, you know, for this last week, we suffered some tremendous loss. And, you know, we suffered losses throughout the year. You know, people suffer different losses. So I just encourage everyone to be a little bit more tender with each other. You know, sometimes this pettiness is not going to work in our favor. I don't care. People might think this is fun. It's not. We have real business to take care of in Willingboro. So this pettiness and this trying to get back at people is ridiculous, and there's really no room for it. Now, people can indulge, but it's no room for it. And so I just say we just have to be a little bit more tender. We are a community, and community means coming together and finding common ground. So I just encourage each of us, you know, people are hurting in different ways, just to be a little bit more tender with each other. And, you know, we can have arguments and disagreements. That's, you know, in healthy tension. But, you know, this backbiting, there's really no room for it. And we have real problems, you know, externally. So it's in our best interest to come together and create a stronger fabric in this community. And that's all I have to say for tonight. Everyone have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Good night. Do we have anybody want executive session? Okay. All right. So we'll save it for next meeting. All right.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Worthy, seconded by Councilwoman Whitfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, this I'm